Once again, our West Marine log boom cam showing you all the fun and the excitement. Chip, I think we're in the wrong place, buddy.
I think we're in the wrong place. I'd like to be out there selling sunscreen. I think that's where the big money is today. It's in sunscreen.
I think there are going to be a few folks show up at the office tomorrow that can't close the collar on their shirts because they're just a mite burned.
Or maybe people just won't show up at the office, if you know what I'm saying.
I really know what you're saying. That sounds like a pretty good deal. Well, it is, after all, a big party. And let's face it, this is the best weather of the year right now. That's why Seafarer all these years has been in August, first week in August. Great boat racing time, great partying time for everybody, and just boats of all shapes and descriptions out there. And I think that fits people, too, all shapes and descriptions who are out there enjoying themselves today. Lots to talk about. Here are some Seafarer numbers that we want to talk about. Today's temperature, for instance, it's now 77 degrees. Well, the average, we always think it's a warm day. Not even 75 is the average. How about the temperatures in a lights engine? Between 160 and 190. And unlimited turbine temperature, 750. It got up to 140 degrees in the cockpit?
No, I'll argue that one. I don't think it ever got that hot. I really don't. I'm not buying that one.
Temperature in the television truck, however, is a mild, actually a cool 62 degrees.
It's interesting how all those temperatures, if you were to pick the most comfortable, happens to be in the KIRO television truck.
Yeah, that's where all...
What a coincidence.
That's where all the mucky mucks hang out, you know. Huh. Producers, directors, all those guys.
It's amazing how that worked out.
It really is. Well, it's actually quite nice up here on the tower, too. There's our truck. You know, we have... What do we have, guys, in the truck? What do we have? About 350 or 400 people working on this thing. Maybe not quite that many. It's a huge, and there we are. This is our tower. That's my hand, our hand.
No, that's my hand.
Oh, okay. There's Ludwig, our cameraman right there, and Derek, our stage manager, and we're just up here bringing you all the great, and this is called vamping, bringing you all of the wonderful, wonderful sights and sounds of Seafarer. We'll be back with more of said sights and sounds in just a minute.
Some girls waving.
Hi, Chris Alpine here with the Mike's Hard Lemonade fan cam. As promised, I got us not only closer, I got us all the way to the hot pits. Let's see if we can get in. Can we get in and shoot some commercials, please? How about if I trade you access for this handy keychain? Great. I've now been denied access by an Explorer Scout. Ha! Apparently someone's working on their merit badge. Easy access, hard to find. A hard mic's good to find.
Here you go, Unlimited Lights Heat 2B. And here are your headlines. Mike's Hard Lemonade going away the winner in the first heat. Can he do it again? This time, will it run? Joe Turner, can he get the UL-18 in the water and running? And Harold Mills, he's got a new engine. Can he find enough speed to compete? The questions to be answered in Unlimited Light Heat 2B.
Unlimited Lights Heat 2B is presented for Seafarer by Graham Trucking. Drivers wanted at grahamtrucking.com.
Here are your competitors. Here is the lineup. The draw for Heat 2B, Mike's Hard Lemonade, the BC Enterprises, Pacific Rim Brewing, the Miss Red Dot Corp, and the Miss Boat Electric with Michael Flaherty at the controls. So let's talk about these drivers as they are now hitting the water. Again, revving up, getting set at just under 4 minutes to go before we're ready to start this Heat 2B. And as we talk about the Mike's Hard Lemonade with Greg Hopp at the controls, 400 points in the first heat. He won that one. He got to be considered, Chip, the favorite to win this one.
Anytime the Mike's Lemonade is there, it's the favorite. But Greg Hopp is doing double duty this weekend. He's driving the Beacon Plumbing in the Unlimited, and he's driving this boat. He had great luck in the first heat with the light boat winning it, but he didn't get started in the Unlimited. But we'll see what happens here.
Mike, you talk about disappointment. Al Karstensen with his boat, the BCS Enterprises, the fastest boat on the water earlier this week, and all of a sudden he gets a DNF.
And you still have to count him, though, Steve, as the spoiler. He may not be as quick as the Lemonade. He may not be quick as the Boat Electric, but he's quick enough to cause both of those guys some problems, especially if he gets a good start.
Joe Turner couldn't get the UL-18 off the trailer. Again, this was the boat that had a car wreck in Pioneer Square, but they are on the water now, and let's see what they can do, Chip.
That's right. They were roughed up in Pioneer Square, but they didn't get started in the first heat, so I think they'll be happy if they can just make a start here and have a finish.
Harold Mills in his red dot boat, the UL-40, a distant third. Does he have the speed, Mike, to reel him in?
Well, he didn't in the first heat, but they've made some adjustments, and he's trying to find a little extra boat speed here. He's going to need it if he's going to beat these hot dogs.
And finally, second in Heat 1A, Michael Flaherty and his Boat Electric group.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Chip.
I don't think Michael Flaherty has the horsepower that Greg Hopp has in the Mike's Lemonade, but I think he has a better handling boat. If there's anybody that can handle the Mike's Lemonade, it's Michael Flaherty in the Boat Electric.
Nate Brown is down in the pits amongst all of the light boats. Nate?
Yeah, what I see so far is obviously there's some faster boats in this heat, but anytime you can get a little slower boat inside the faster boats, they have to really run. So, you know, if Harold Mills can push that thing on the inside, you know, he might be able to make those faster boats run around him. He might have a shot at this one.
And Mr. Rodet, your sense of things here as we're going into, getting set to start Heat 2B?
My sense is that the Chevrolet Cup at Seafarer has now become just a sensational two-day event. And the fans are here jumping up and down and enjoying it as 5 V8s and 40 pistons are going to go up and down. And Mike, are you ready?
I'm ready. And they're going to be going up and down in just about a minute and 30 seconds at the line. The question is, and I think Nate put his finger on it, Chip, if you're a slower boat, make the fast guys drive a big course.
You do. That's all you can do. But there's two other things you have to do as well. You have to get to the start line, number one, on time. But it's not enough to get there just on time. You have to be there on time with a lot of boat speed. So you got to be on the inside, you got to get to the start line on time, and you got to have a lot of acceleration. So it's a tough thing to do.
And right now you see in the lower left-hand corner of your screen, center lower left, the two hot dogs are side by side. The yellow boat, the Mike's Hard Lemonade, up the back chute, just creeping toward the 45-second buoy, and the red boat is the Boat Electric with Michael Flaherty. And it looks like the idea of the slower boats making the faster guys run outside isn't going to work for this heat, because already the faster guys are taking lanes 1 and 2.
And as a driver, you don't want that to happen. You've got to know who's got a better boat than you do. And you know you've got to be inside those guys. So to let Greg Hopp have the inside like that, shame on them.
That was an error right off the top, but there's a lot of racing that takes place, obviously, even before the boats hit the line and go into their first lap. And now we'll start to see them throttling up ever so gradually now as they get into the upper corner and arc around that north turn, that Mercer Island floating bridge turn on the inside. It's going to be Mike's Hard Lemonade, actually right where Greg Hopp wants to be. He's got the perfect start position now with 3 seconds left on the clock. He looks like he's going to hit it just right, and he does. And we're off and running with the Mike's Hard Lemonade flying down that front straightaway, well out front, followed by Michael Flaherty in the Boat Electric. And it looks like Harold Mills holding down third place right now on the outside in the red dot.
And look at how far these guys are spread out with only one lap. Going into the first corner, they're spread all over the place, and that just is not very good driving. They should all be together. That start before you start racing the other drivers, you race the clock. You've got to be there on time. And the only guy that was really there on time was Greg Hopp.
Flaherty has shown some speed on the outside there in the center of your screen now. You see that red boat pulling up. That's Michael Flaherty. We didn't think he'd be quite that fast head-to-head, but look at this.
From the outside, nevertheless.
He's driving a slightly bigger course, but he's got a lot more RPM going for him. He slipped back just a little bit there as they come off to the apex, but he's got a head of steam coming down in lap number 1. And we've got ourselves a dandy battle for 1 and 2 right now.
He's closer to the leader right now than he was when he made the start, so that tells me that he's got a boat that's every bit as quick, maybe quicker than that Mike's Lemonade, and that's saying something.
Now watch this water down here in the lower corner now as you see Greg Hopp right there start to set his boat for the turn. See those parallel rollers in there? Wakes left from the last time through, and depending upon how you hit them, determine whether or not you can maintain your speed through that corner.
You know, he did a great job there, and that did 2 things for him. He's down. He's got an engine problem.
Something happened. The Mike's is out of it, and up the back chute goes Michael Flaherty out front now in the Boat Electric. You see him all by himself. Now, I don't know whether he fell in a hole or what, but we were just talking about what could happen down there. You over-rev anything. You could throw a prop. Any number of things could happen to you.
You know, there's a pattern here. You win the first heat, and you don't finish in the second heat. What does that do? It means the guys that finish second, third, and do it week, heat after heat can make the finals. So Zadaro and Greg Hopp may have trouble making the final.
And they may possibly have that kind of trouble. This plays into the hand of Mr. Mills, who is just going into that corner as you just saw him pass the green buoy as Michael Flaherty, down on power considerably, comes down to end his lap. Here's Mills with his foot in it.
And you can see Michael Flaherty is slowed way down because he's, got it coming up on him from the outside. Now, sometimes if you're not aware of that, they can catch you sleeping.
I think Michael was just a little bit confused about what position he was in there. I think he thought he was going to see a checkered flag, but he's got this last lap he's on right now, and I think he just miscounted.
Now look at this room right here between the wake of the boat out front and the boat in second. He should be right next to that wake there because you want to go as short a distance as possible when you're on the outside. He needs to move that boat over to the left a little bit.
Mills in second place there. You see him behind Michael Flaherty up the back chute, and Flaherty's not getting a whole lot of acceleration down that straightaway.
Mike, do you think he's going slow because he knows he's in front, or does he have a mechanical problem as well?
Hard to say. That's the second time coming out of the corner. Well, right now he'd better be concerned because Mr. Mills is just zipping right up there trying to get him in the corner. Now Flaherty realizes he's in a little bit of trouble.
I don't think he knew he was there, and maybe the radio isn't working, but boy, if Harold Mills could have won a heat here, you'd see one happy guy.
Well, Harold Mills just about had the chance to do that. Flaherty discovered it, put the hammer down. The checkered flag is going to go to Flaherty, but he almost gave that one up.
Well, he answered our question whether it was mechanical failure or he wasn't aware he was there, because boy, once he saw him there out of his right side window, he took off. So,
nice strong second place for Harold Mills. He's in great points position. Some of these hot dogs haven't got as many points as he does.
I tell you, Pat, what do you think it would mean to a guy like Harold Mills to win a heat here?
Oh, Harold would be so thrilled. He loves this sport. He loves this town. He loves this lake. He loves Seafarer. I hope it can happen for him soon.
I think it would be great for the sport. I mean, Harold Mills is an African-American, and I think, he brought a lot of attention to this sport from a minority that really hasn't been interested in powerboat racing, so we're real lucky to have someone like Harold Mills here.
Got to be happy for Joe Turner, too. He's got that Pacific Brewing. He found he couldn't even make his start the first time out. Got himself some points this time. They've been just hustling that boat, trying to get it ready to race, and a lot of systems changes they had to make in that one.
Talking about this sport and this event, as our cameras have panned up and down the course, has anyone noticed the number of boats on the log boom and the crowd that's here that was here yesterday? I mean, it's just astonishing. And they love these unlimited lights, and oh, do they cherish this event. Look at that crowd, and that's just Saturday.
It's great that Steve Rabel invites everybody out every summer for this party. I tell you, he throws a heck of a party, and we all owe Steve Rabel a big thing.
The tough part is Monday signing the tab.
Yeah,
that's the big number right there. Well, you're right. We've talked about it. Chip and I have been talking about it on the tower, how it appears to be a Sunday afternoon with all the boats. But the weather's been fabulous, and it will continue to be through this Seafarer weekend. And that's one of the reasons why we have Seafarer every time this year, because this is the best chance we have.
February, I don't think it would work in February. I don't think we get the crowd.
But as you look at this crowd on a Saturday, forget the critics. Is there any question whether Seafarer is alive and well?
Nobody pays attention to the critics anyway. They keep saying the demise of Seafarer and that it's a dinosaur. But I tell you, if it's a dinosaur that makes this many people happy, that's a good dinosaur.
There you see Harold Mills. He's out of the red dot boat as he's coming in close to his finger pier. He'll be in here shortly.
He darn near snatched this away from Michael Flaherty.
I've done it myself, Michael. You think you're all out in front, you got it your way, so you want to save the equipment, you back off, and there's some guy charging, and by the time you know it and get the boat up to speed, it's too late, and that almost happened to Michael Flaherty.
Nate Brown is with Michael Flaherty right now. Let's go down to Nate.
Yeah, I sure got him here. He looked like a happy camper, I'm telling you, Michael. Great job of driving out there, but, in the end, did you start running out of gas and pick up to get in the corners, or what was going on out there?
Yeah, got some slight problems going on. It's not too bad. We should be able to take care of them by tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. But, good run for you guys, and it looked good out there. Got a good smile, too, buddy.
Oh, I do. That was fun. It's a great run. Mike's hard lemonade, Greg Hopp driving. He's tough to beat.
Tell you what, you got a fast boat. If you get the inside lane on these guys, you get a real chance here, bud.
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for. If we can manage to pull the inside lane off, take the Jensen Motorboat Company presents Miss Boat Electric to a victory here. Be great.
You said that quicker than I could even possibly do it. Steve, that's it from down here. Back up to you guys.
So here are your official results now for Unlimited Lights, Heat 2B, and it's a 1-2-3 finish. Michael Flaherty, Harold Mills, Joe Turner in the Boat Electric, Miss Red Dot, and the Pacific Rim Brewing. But the big surprise, Mike's Hard Lemonade didn't finish after winning in the first heat. Here's John Lynch at the presentation stage.
Thanks, Steve. I'm here with Rob Graham, sponsor of the Graham Trucking Cup here at Seafarer, and he's to make the presentation to the winner of Heat 2B.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I am Rob Graham, and representing Graham Trucking, and this was Michael Flaherty, who's taken over for Phil Bonancini in the UL 72. Congratulations, Mike.
Thanks. I'd like to thank Phil Bonancini and Joe Fraunheim, co-owners in the boat UL 72. I'd like to thank Graham for sponsoring this heat. He's been a part of this for a while. I'd like to thank Anchor Jensen's Motorboat Company for presenting Miss Boat Electric, Jeff and Lori from Boat Electric. They've been great to us all year, and hope we can pull out a win for them by the end of the weekend.
That was yesterday. Now one more opportunity for some of these lights. The lights be main when we come back. We are back to boat racing, the Unlimited Lights B main. And there is but one headline in this one. It's the last opportunity, the last chance for one of these four boats to ride with the rest. Make it two of these four boats to ride with the rest in the final for the Unlimited Lights. It's your Light B main.
The Unlimited Lights B main is presented for Seafarer by Graham Trucking. Drivers wanted at grahamtrucking.com.
Well, we're hoping to have four boats in. Let's see. One of them isn't off the trailer yet. They're still hooking it up. But Mike's Hard Lemonade is out there. The Miss Software prototype. The Conover Insurance boat. Vince Zidaro is the one we're waiting on. And the Pacific Rim Brewing Company. That is the draw for the B main. We've got 3 minutes to go as they begin to score up. A couple of three boats, I believe, out there. Count them up for me, Chip. 1, 2 I see out there right now. We're looking for two more. Zidaro's boat is coming off the trailer, soon to be lifted into the water.
It's still going to be close. Even though they're off the trailer, they're well into the 5-minute period. It's going to be tough for him to get started and on plane in time.
Well, there it is right there. Let's go to the baseball cards and tell you about the boats. Mike's Hard Lemonade, first place, and it did not finish yesterday, Chip.
He did not finish because he did the right thing. He was watching the gauges, saw he had no oil pressure, and shut it down. That allows him to be here right now.
Greg Hopp at the controls. Your UL-14, the software prototype boat. Paul Becker, the oldest boat in the field. Mike?
This is Paul's best performance aboard that race boat. It's faster now. It's been elongated, and Paul has a chance to get into a final. He's never been there before on Lake Washington.
The UL 929, Vince Zidaro, a first, and it did not finish, and he may not even start. He has got to get out on the course and in a hurry, Chip.
He's had a roller coaster weekend. First heat, he had the start of the century. Second heat, he jumped the gun. And right now, it's going to be close if he can even get on the race course in time.
Got to be out there with a minute to go. And finally, the UL 18, Joe Turner, banged this boat up in Pioneer Square, of all places.
A tribute to a bunch of guys who threw together equipment from a variety of different teams. A tribute not only to the sportsmanship of other teams, but also to these fellows who worked all night to get ready to go today.
Bill Rocky, they may have called it the last chance at one time. They call it the B main now, but you got to get in. You got to be one of two boats to get into the final from here.
That's right, and you got to give so much credit to Vince's crew here. They've been working for the last 4 hours. They just got in the water. They haven't trailer fired it. They don't know what's going to happen here. And they had parts come up from Tacoma about an hour and a half ago. So let's root for them here. Let's hope they can get in here because they've really been working.
It is going to be very, very tight, though, with coming up on a minute, and they haven't got the hatch closed yet. The canopy is not closed, and I think now they're saying that's it. They can't make it. So it looks like it'll be three boats, two going to the finals. Let's take a look at the conditions out on the course. And again, for this time of day, the water's not looking too bad. Weather, 79 degrees, course calm, winds are calm. And we are going to turn it over right now to the man who is the voice of Unlimited Lights, John Lynch. John?
Thank you, Steve. And Paul Becker is going for lane number 1, and Joe Turner looks like he'll be in 2 with Greg Hopp on the outside in 3. It's been a couple of years since Greg or Jerry Hopp have actually had to go through a B main. They've been so reliable and won the last 2 ULHRA championships when they were first getting started with the supercharged engine program. That back in 2002 is when the last time they were in a B main. So this is very different for them. It's the only engine they have. They've got to survive this and survive another one. Joe Turner is on in lane 2. There is Paul Becker in lane 1. Greg Hopp is on the outside, and the count is down to 2-1. Here they come. They'll all be there, and Paul Becker is going to take the lead at the start in that 31-year-old Miss Software prototype with Joe Turner alongside and Greg Hopp on the outside. Hopp moving up quickly on the outside to come even with Becker.
Hopp really has a boat that should be able to go around the outside of both these boats, don't you think?
You would think so, but right now, not yet. Paul Becker with the lead, as you can see, through turn number 1, and that's Greg Hopp hard on the outside with Joe Turner right in the middle. The top 2 boats will advance to the final. The 3rd boat will be the alternate for the Unlimited Lights final.
I tell you, Paul Becker is doing one heck of a job. That's an old boat, but he's taking the short way around the course, and he's making Greg Hopp really worked that motor hard.
We're just handed something here that we had not been given. Jerry Hopp is said to be driving in the Mike's Hard Lemonade now. That is a change, but probably because of Greg's responsibility on the Unlimited side. Now 3 wide through turn number 1. Look at that shot as they hit the exit pin. It's Paul Becker on your right, Joe Turner in the middle, and on the outside, Jerry Hopp as they come down to finish lap number 1 of 3.
Look at these parallel rollers right there. Those are real dangerous because you get inside of them, and it's like a bicycle wheel in a rut. You can't get the boat out of them.
And now Hopp is going to move ahead to take the lead on the outside in the Mike's Hard Lemonade. Joe Turner there is back in the middle with Jerry, make that Paul Becker on the inside. So the 2 yellow boats are blanketed right there. And then back in 3rd is Joe Turner as they hit the exit pin on lap number 2 here on the backstretch.
Boy, for a minute there, it looked like Joe Turner was going to get squeezed, and Jerry Hopp has got his hands full. Paul Becker has got to be happy. I've never seen him drive like this.
First competition run of the year for Jerry Hopp after having twin knee replacement surgery back in April, and he is deck to deck with Paul Becker as they go down the backstretch.
Pretty hard to pedal a boat that fast when you've had knee surgery, but he's pedaling it plenty quick right now.
He is doing just fine. Paul Becker with that narrow, short. It was an original Unlimited Light back in 1995. The Hopps ran this boat for about 6 seasons. Then they advanced to the one that they have now, but there's still a lot of life in that old UL-14 that Paul Becker is running as they come right at you down the front straightaway.
This has got to be a dream come true for Paul Becker, that inside boat. He's driving like there's no tomorrow, and I think he really probably didn't expect to get in the main, but I think he's going to be there no problem.
Oh, he's gunning for that. That team, a bunch of high school students from Newport over in Bellevue. They've been doing this together for 3 years. Now they're going off to college, but they love doing this in the summertime. And Becker again with the advantage down the backstretch.
Let me ask you this. Will Greg or Jerry be in the boat for the final if indeed they make it to the final?
Well, I would anticipate Greg, but right now we'll have to wait and see. That is not very high out of the water there for Paul Becker, but he brings it down. The airline pilot out of Bellevue in the Miss Software prototype. On the outside is Jerry Hopp, and as they hit the exit pin, we got 1 more lap to go as Becker and Hopp are running very well.
Becker is just getting that boat around those buoys perfectly. He's just sliding the boat such that he just makes it around the buoy, going the shortest distance possible.
And there's the checkered flag in this 3-lap Unlimited Lights B main. So Paul Becker and Hopp Racing will advance to the final heat. And here comes Joe Turner as he is going to take 3rd place in the B main. What a story. That boat brought in overnight from Windermere, BC. They adapted the engine from Joe Turner's boat that was in that traffic wreck back on Wednesday, and he is now the alternate for the final, but 2 solid runs for that team coming out of nowhere. There's Jerry Hopp, and there is Paul Becker.
John, explain to us what the alternate means in the main.
In our situation, we don't like trailer boats because you're going to be getting just a pounding going out there, as you well know.
You do.
Well, the situation is we're going to have a final heat that's going to be 6 wide. So in this case, the alternate is going to be in the water at the start. Now, if there is a problem, like what happened with Vince Sodaro here in the B main, if one of those teams cannot get out on the water or goes dead in the water at the 3-minute mark, then the alternate is sent out there. If that problem with the other boat is taken care of, then the alternate either pulls to the infield or pulls off the course, but that'll be in the water in case there's a problem. Then Joe Turner would be sent out.
I remember being in that position and my finger on that starter, and there was a little bit of pressure already on that starter because you're just waiting, watching that clock, hoping you can hit that button.
I can imagine, and it will be that way for Joe Turner, but just what a great story to even get into the show at all this week.
And Paul Becker, I know he has got to be ecstatic about this. I mean, Newport High School, I have to say, is my alma mater, so I'm proud of those guys there. And Paul did a heck of a job driving that boat. You could not go a shorter distance around that course than Paul Becker did.
Well, if you don't mind me breaking up the Alumni Association meeting here from Newport High School as we see the boats coming in, I think it was Jerry Hopp who had the canopy open and was waving at the crowd as he was coming past.
That's a Jerry Hopp thing. He always does that. Oh, yes.
He made all of his fans happy out there as those two boats now are coming in. And you really do have to feel for Vince Sodaro, don't you? That crew worked so hard to get that boat ready to run.
And that start in the first heat yesterday, that was as perfect a race boat start as I've ever seen. I was disappointed to see him throw it all away by jumping the gun in the next heat, but boy, that was a pretty start.
There he is.
That is Jerry Hopp. That's his first competitive heat this year. He was did a couple of test runs earlier, but that's his first time in competition, and he's taken that boat to the final heat.
And look at these knees. They're working just fine. He bent down there perfectly.
They were not working anywhere near that good a year ago. But, of course, remember that he drove off to the victory here. Jerry did. In fact, he's won 2 of the last 3 Graham Trucking Cups at Seafarer in 2002 and 2004.
I see our Bill Rocky is standing by. And here comes just a little bit of a replay. Look at this deck-to-deck racing right here in these lights. That's why these lights are so popular with the fans.
And they keep coming at them. They keep trying to put on as good a show as they possibly can. Paul Becker is getting more out of that boat than Ron Jones designed into it back in 1974. And it's doing terrifically well. They've got the big engine in it. In addition to lengthening the boat a year and a half ago, they've got the big 509 cubic inch engine. And Paul Becker, he's got a heavy foot.
There's a big, hi, Mom, look at me. Here I am.
I think that's hi, Dorothy, Mrs. Hopp. I'm okay.
Yes, that's right. My knees are all right, too. All that money we spent on the knees, the titanium. John Lynch has got to go because he's going to call the big race for the lights on radio. So, John, we thank you very much for your expertise. We appreciate it.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation. And we're looking forward to a great 6-boat final for the Unlimited Lights coming up.
Great job. Let's hear from the winner, or one of the winners at least, because both of them win. They make it into the final. Here's Bill Rocky down in the pits with Jerry Hopp.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. When was the switch made?
Well, we were trying to decide. Greg has to drive the plumbing boat in the provisional for the Unlimiteds, and there was only 15 minutes.
Oh,
if Greg was standing here right now, he'd be running over the Unlimited because they're under 5 to the 5. So I said, you know what? If I drive the last chance seat, we've been letting him drive since I had my total knee replacement. Been letting him drive, and he's right in the lead for the high points. Well, there's no points awarded for this heat. And I says, well, heck, I'll drive it. So zingo, there we were.
And you got the job done.
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was a good feeling. Good to get out there and go after it. Our old boat there, the softproducts.com, that's a fast boat. He's going faster than he used to. Faster than when we had it.
All right, congratulations. What a great win for the Hopp family here, guys.
Celebrations all around. Right, knees came out of it okay. Thanks very much, Bill, and to the Hopps. So we've got coming up, well, those 2 boats now make it into the final of the lights. We've got the provisional. The same thing for the Unlimiteds. Winner gets to keep racing today. Up next, the Unlimited Provisional will be back. And it's time now for the provisional heat for the Unlimiteds. And here are your headlines. From the pits, father and stepson, actually, the sports boat, and the Lake Ridge paving. We'll talk about more. The fastest in the heat, could it be the Graham Trucking? And all that history. Can they make it work for them? Can they make it work for them? The Thriftway, the U60, here in the provisional.
The Provisional heat of the Chevy Cup at Seafarer is brought to you by your Northwest Chevy dealers. Chevrolet, official vehicle of Seafarer, and is presented for Seafarer by Chevrolet, an American revolution.
And here now your lineup. The heat draw for the provisional heat. It's Graham Trucking. It's Sport Boat Northwest, Miss Thriftway, Todd Haas Lake Ridge Paving, and the Miss Beacon Plumbing, the U100 boat. We are inside 5 minutes. In fact, almost down to 3 minutes before the gun. So let's get right to the drivers and the boats that are competing for that final spot in the final. The U2 Graham Trucking. There is J. Michael Kelly. Chip?
Very disappointed. I'm sure he wanted to be on the front line, but the best he can do, even if he wins here, is to be trailer. But I look to him to win this heat.
Guard, are they confident down there in the pits?
They're very confident. They also want a little bit of luck. Of course, they won the two-way heat, and then they stalled in 3A with a brand new motor. Couldn't get out of the blocks. They rebuilt a motor, and now they say they are ready to go.
Let's see if they are. The U13 sports boat, Terry Troxel. This guy has been a bug under a few drivers' bonnet today.
He's one of the menagerie of drivers out there for sure this time, and he's got to get the inside on the U2, or the U2 is going to pull it off on him, I think.
All right, Nate Brown, thanks very much. And how about, again, the tradition of the Thriftway? Steve Hook, an awful lot of DNSs there, Chip.
Yeah, I tell you, this boat, I think it'd be a big victory if they could just run some laps and finish the heat.
There's the Thriftway. They're still not off the deck. He's walking away from it. I guess they can't get it going again today.
Frustrating.
Yep. So let's talk about the U99 boat. That's the Todd Haas Lake Ridge Paving boat. Jeff Bernard, the youngster at the controls. Mike?
Great day. This young man has had a wonderful day. For a rookie experience, this guy's never going to forget Seafarer 2005. It's been a fabulous afternoon for him. He's had to start behind, but he's actually passed a few boats and has had a great education today.
And we'll be hearing more from him in the future. One reason why the elder Mr. Hopp raced in the other provisional, because Greg Hopp is running right here in this one, the U100 Miss Beacon Plumbing.
Greg Hopp had the chance to be in two finals, the lights and the unlimited, and it doesn't look like he's going to be in either one. And I tell you, Fred Leland he's had a rough weekend. 3 boats, but only a chance to get one in the final. And at that, it'll be the trailer.
We really have been used to seeing those blue and white Leland boats really competing for position and competing for prize money, and now it doesn't look like much is going to happen for Fred and company today. So coming up on a minute to the provisional start. 79 degrees, again, continuing to warm up. Still, though, fairly calm out there, winds and course. And with more on the provisional, let's turn it back over to Mike Fitzsimmons.
Well, I want to pass the baton to my friend Pat O'Day, who's been calling Unlimited hydroplane racing on Lake Washington. Pat, you take the con. I'll follow up.
Well, Mike, thank you. You know, this is a disappointment that the Thriftway and the Beacon Plumbing isn't operating, but I got to tell you, we're going to see a heck of a heat here. The reason being that both Terry Troxel and J. Michael Kelly fully anticipated that they would be in the final. Little did they know that that Troxel would jump the gun in one heat and not have sufficient points to be in the final. And little did J. Michael Kelly know that he wouldn't be ready to go. But now they're in that floating bridge turn, and Troxel is definitely going to be on the inside with Sports Boat Northwest, and J. Michael Kelly, that young man from Kent's, on the outside. Here they come around the apex and down to the exit buoy and head toward the starting line with 8, 7, 6.
Early.
Troxel doesn't want to be that early this time, but he's early again. What will happen? He jumped it. He jumped it. I'm afraid he jumped it again. And here on the outside comes Jeff Bernard, the rookie in the Lake Ridge Paving. And now to the first turn they go. J. Michael Kelly in the middle. Chip, call him to the turn.
I tell you, Jeff Bernard right now is just happy as a clam because he got a good run. He had great boat speed. The other guys were stopped at the start line because they were early. And I tell you what, he could pull this off and find himself in the final.
Yeah, this kid's no rookie anymore. Look at that kind of driving as he comes down the backstretch right past J. Michael Kelly. He's in a boat race.
These are two young guys from this area. They raced out. I wouldn't be surprised if they raced outboards against each other, and here they are doing it at 180.
At the apex of the floating bridge turn, those skid fins throw that wall of water into the air. What a beautiful sight. Troxel's on the inside in the Sports Boat Northwest, the yellow boat with a blue hood. But in the lead now, in the U2, the Graham Trucking, you've got J. Michael Kelly. He's the leader at the end of lap 1, Chip.
Yeah, look at this. This is a great boat race. And look at this guy on the outside, a rookie, and he does not look intimidated at all. You see how close he's staying to this boat? He's going the shortest distance he can go.
It's a good move that Michael Kelly put on him just now, too.
I tell you, we're seeing some good driving here. Yes, these aren't maybe the fastest boats out here in the pits, but I tell you what, this is as good a driving as you see anywhere.
What an exciting day for Jeff Bernard, the rookie out there, who started as the trailer boat, and now he is pulled just a little bit ahead of the Graham Trucking. Troxell's still in the lead on the inside. I don't know if he has to run an extra lap or not. I think he jumped the gun, but we're not sure yet.
I think J. Michael just might have bumped the Lake Ridge paving boat. They got awful close together entering that corner there, and J. Michael has shut it off. He may have some damage on his right sponson.
Now the question will be, if they did indeed bump, did J. Michael move out, or did Jeff Bernard hold him in too tight? We'll have to wait and see what the judges say.
At this point, you realize what's happened. Jeff Bernard, the rookie, may have worked his way into the final because Terry Troxell did jump the gun at the beginning here of the provisional heat. That's a big disappointment for that crew. That's the boat that won the Gold Cup in Detroit just 3 weeks ago, and here it has failed to make the final in Seattle. Nevertheless, Terry Troxell's giving it a good run and setting the pace for the rookie Jeff Bernard in the yellow and green Lake Ridge paving. They're at the top of the turn. They straighten it out, and here they come. The checkered flag, the white flag is up for Troxell. But then the checkered flag, I think, will come up for Jeff Bernard. White flag, Troxell.
I don't see a checkered. I don't see a checkered
I don't either.
He may have been called for bumping J. Michael Kelly, but
there is just a chance that Sports Boats Northwest with Terry Troxell will still make that final heat of the day.
Now watch what happens here now, because now both of them know they're in penalty situations, and now the young rookie is going to really have to put the hammer down, because Troxell realizes he may have a breath of life yet.
I'm afraid it's going to be close. I tell you, Jeff Bernard is not bad. He's getting
not
everything.
All.
He's got a lot of momentum. He has a great deal of momentum.
Troxell has an 18-year-old hull that was built by Jim Lucero. It was designed for when fuel was not limited, when boats could go much faster than they do now.
Look at
driven
this.
Once upon a time by Mark Tate, driven today by Terry Troxell. Next to him is the rookie Jeff Bernard, side by side, coming down to the line. It's going to be as close as the next minute.
Rookie's got
it. Rookie Jeff Bernard in the Lake Ridge Plumbing, or Lake Ridge Paving, excuse me. He pulled it off.
Father and stepson racing against each other, and I want to say that that is as good a rookie performance as I've ever seen in an unlimited hydroplane. He did everything perfectly. Maybe he did bump, so it wasn't perfect, but he did a great job. That should be a proud kid.
Have we seen great racing here on this lake today, or what? And now in the meantime, J. Michael Kelly has his boat back up and running. He's going to try and complete and get those points, whatever they're worth.
Now, father and stepson racing that hard. I'd like to be at their house for Thanksgiving next year, because I have a feeling that last lap's going to get relived over the dinner table.
Well, they didn't tag all that tightly, because there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of damage there, but definitely we saw the two boats come together, and it appeared that the encroachment was the rookie's responsibility there in that particular case. Bernard coming out rather than J. Michael coming in.
Mike, Chip, and Steve, thanks for letting me do that one. That was a lot of fun.
And you had yourself a good boat race to watch.
Had a great boat race to watch.
Remember we talked about that, Mike, with the telestrator. I said, you know how tight he's holding him in there? That's a really good thing. But the danger of that is you do it too tight, and that's what can happen.
Well, J. Michael gave him a hip check in that first lap, and he was trying to teach him something, and the kid wasn't about to give up. And he came in and left him a lane and then squeezed him just a little too much. That was a rookie kind of a mistake, but he recovered from it, obviously.
You know, Mike, I see more driving talent, raw talent on the beach. Some of it's new, and they're making some rookie mistakes, but I see more raw talent on the beach today than I've seen in a really long time.
Best crop of drivers, Chip, have come up in many a year.
I agree.
And gentlemen, I don't want to jinx things, but if we have as good a boat race in the final as we just had in this provisional, this deck to deck, this coming down to the finish, that's going to be some kind of final for the Chevrolet Cup at Seafarer here in 2005.
Well, Steve, like I said earlier, you know that without the Budweiser being here, I think it's an attitudinal thing, but everyone believes they've got an equal chance, and it's changed the strategy, it's changed the mood of the fans along the shore, and it's certainly given us total parity out there on Lake Washington today.
And Pat, look at the cheering going on for the Lakewood Paving Group.
Is that great or what?
As far as they're concerned, now they're provisional in the final, but as far as they're concerned, I think they won the Gold Cup, the Chevrolet Cup, the National Championship. They are very happy, and they should be, because they've got a real young talent there.
Before he falls off the deck of the boat, let's go to Guard Swanson, who is with that young Mr. Bernard right now. Guard?
Wow, Jeff, what a race, huh? Oh, man, I can't even talk right now. I'm so out of breath. I guess we got a one-lap penalty there for cutting the course. Got up there a little too early. I wanted to be in lane 1, but did what we had to do. I drove it as hard as I possibly could.
And tell me about the guy that you were battling down the final stretch.
Oh, man, that was awesome, the battle, especially with my stepdad. Lake Ridge Paving, at least we got one Leland boat in the final. Thank all our sponsors, Fred Leland and the crew. They did an awesome job. We missed the heat today, and we're in the final. That's all that matters.
You know, Chip Hanauer, Steve Rabel up in the booth are calling this one of the best finishes ever, especially for a little father-son combo.
I'm so out of breath, I don't even know what to say right now.
And I got to ask you this. I heard that you guys had to borrow some batteries from your dad. Is that right? So you guys could actually fire up the engine?
No, actually, yeah, there we go. We got to thank Lumar. They gave us 2 batteries to make this the heat, and thank God.
All right, can I throw you in the water now, or you got one more race to go?
We got one more race to go.
All right, Steve, back up to you.
All right, Guard, thanks very much. Nate Brown is in the pits as well, and I don't know that anybody could be much happier than Mr. Bernard at this point. Nate?
Well, I got a proud dad, I guess, or a disappointed dad. I really don't know what. Terry, you passing the torch, or what's going on here?
Well, I think I have to mow the grass Monday. I had my foot on the floor. He just kept coming, and I think he got me at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, Terry.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I mean, you know, other than the blunder start I made. But, you know, this is the greatest thing in the world. I mean, it's a family-oriented sport, and this proves it. It's lots of fun.
I tell you, remember that for a long time to come. I would love to race my kid like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to lose to him, though. It's going to be hell.
There you go, Steve.
All right, Nate. That's great, and it is a family affair, even if you're not part of that family. The Provisional Heat unofficial results. Lake Ridge Paving and the youngster, Jeff Bernard, at the controls. The sport boat with Terry Troxel, then Graham Trucking, and unfortunately the Thriftway didn't get a start, nor did the Miss Beacon Plumbing here in the Provisional. When we come back, we've got some awards to give to the lights, and we still have the big race of the day to come. So just like those boaters out there, don't you go away.